big dream, spark the fire within. Building business brick by brick to win. Every setback, every climb, shape our hustle, strength and time. Chasing growth and nothing less. This is the journey from scratch to success.
Hello everyone, welcome to From Scratch to Success, where we interview some of the most successful entrepreneurs and find out about their journey. My name is Jay Ma, and today my hair is done by Lauren On. Today's guest, Monika Tu, a powerhouse in global luxury real estate, a passionate philanthropist, and a true culture ambassador. She's the founder of Black Diamondz Group, and she has transformed the way high net worth individuals experience property in Australia, especially international buyers from the Asian market. Monika is the recipient of the Order of Australia Medal, an advocate for some of major charities like Sydney's Children's Hospital Foundation, and an ambassador for some of the most iconic luxury names. Monika's story is one of elegance, impact, and global influence. I am so blessed to have you here with me today, Monika.
Thank you so much for having me for your first podcast. Good luck.
I know. Thank you. Yeah, I was like, wow, Monika said yes to me. So it's just gonna go uphill from here.
Fingers crossed. I'm sure you're going to do very well.
Thank you. So let's get started. Monika, so tell me about your story, the origin story. How did it all start?
Oh, where should we start? So I was born in China and in 1960s, and I was very fortunate. My life is very blessed. So after if anybody know about Chinese history, after the Cultural Revolution, and we actually got the opportunity to go to university. So at the age of 15, a little bit more, I went to university and studied German and French. Right? Is that okay? What about English? But anyway, my father didn't choose me to study English. That's kind of like a really interesting story. So after my graduation from university, and I was like 19, so I
Mhm.
studied become an interpreter. So
Oh,
I got an amazing government job in back in China. Just imagine, right? So in China, if you have a government job, it's kind of like we call that the iron ball. So you don't have to worry about rest of your life. Yeah, for some reason, I left my job and I went to a city called Shenzhen in 1985, so before your guys is even born. So, the interesting thing is that, could you give up something so solid and pursue a kind of like a dream, right? I didn't even have, it's not even a dream, an opportunity. So I went to Shenzhen and did fantastic. I was the only interpreter in the province. Just imagine how hot I was.
yeah.
Young, female. Good looking, and amazing job. And I give up my job again in Shenzhen and came to Australia in 1988.
Wow.
So yeah, and the one thing I want to share with you is that so, you give something away and you start something unknown. So in Australia was really difficult at the time. No language and no friends, and from like a amazing job to nothing. So I have to end up working like all the random jobs, like a babysitters, washing the dishes. And you read my story and
Yeah.
started working in the market. But the story is like it doesn't matter what you had in the past, and I always start new. So I kind of like feel like every day I start something new, right? So that makes my life really exciting. It's I'm sure a lot of people like maybe your mom's time is all new migrants to this country, and the thing is like you always have to be resilient and have for me is that I really always take the challenges and make it like absolutely fabulous and amazing, right? So very privileged to build two business empires, and like recipient of Order of Australia. So all this achievement is I think if you look back, it's all about you never look back, and it's always looking
Mm,
forward, and then make the most out of what you have right now. So
mm,
I think that's a quick summary of what I did, but we can go through the details on
of course.
whatever you want to know. I'm happy to share with your audience, and
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, I feel like, well, thank you for sharing. First of all, I just want to say, Monica, you're still hot. So you're still very hot.
Yeah, yeah.
And beautiful. And I think just you coming from such a humble beginning. It's really like you said, you were washing the dishes, you're working the market. Like it's so inspiring for people to hear that. I just want to ask you, what sort of inspired you?
Well, what inspired me is I think maybe my family, I would say. My mom always say, like, we cannot give you, remember, we come from a third world country, and the province I came from was like really poor. So, in China, you have Beijing, Shanghai, the first two cities, and, the other cities, like my city in southwest of China, is like really poor, right? It's really, but my family supported, was tremendous. So my mom will always saying, like, whatever you do, we're going to support you. Okay, if you just give it a go. So if you fail, so which I haven't, but I don't think even failures is another step of success, right? So if
Mm,
you really want to turn back, we still have a home for you. So I
mm,
think that's the strength I have to always pursue my dream. And like, just remember, that's why we come back. I give up my dream, a secure job in government in the
mm,
city. So in Guizhou province, right, it's
mm,
so poor. You give up your iron bowl for
mm,
something unknown, right? But because I know if something goes wrong, I always have my family to support me. I think that's probably, I wouldn't say inspiration, that give me a security for me to just move on.
Wow, sounds like you have a very supportive family, which is so important, especially.
Very important. So, like, like, it doesn't matter who is listening, right? Even
Mm,
because you are going to be a family, or or parents in the future. So only one thing you can give to your children is that sense of security, right?
mm,
They always can come back to you and with the open arms. Doesn't matter, we didn't have money. No, we didn't have anything at the time, but
mm,
I know my parents are always there. Even my parents are divorced, right? But
mm,
even they're divorced, not together, but I know they're there for me, one of them or each of them. So
mm.
that's really important for a family support.
Yeah, that's right. So when you came over to Australia, you were by yourself, right, Monica?
Yes.
Wow,
I
wow.
was by myself, and like, it's unbelievable. Like, you
Mm,
landed at the airport. So I
mm,
landed actually in Melbourne, and I didn't know anybody. So I got picked up by the school, so by one of the college. So I
mm,
couldn't even speak. I didn't even know how to buy tram tickets. That was terrible. But you know what? Doesn't matter. So I was young. I was 26 years of age, and so you can always start, learning. Even you see, my English is still not perfect, but you know what? Doesn't matter, right? So if I didn't do well, I can always go back home. So
I
that's the
think.
strength. Yeah.
Yeah, well, like, I think you are so. I remember the first time I met you. I just remember you're so uniquely beautiful, but not just from the outside, but from just your essence and your strength. And that's what I truly remembered. So, it's and from talking to you, I can understand why, because you've
Yeah,
got
I would.
yeah,
Yeah, that's a big word. Thank you so much. You think I'm beautiful, right? So I think one of the things, like, I'm authentic.
yes,
Okay, I think one thing, that's what people can control. So you can control how you look like,
that's
and
right.
you cannot control, how amazing is your skin, your hair, whatever that is,
Yeah.
right? But one thing you can control is you just being authentic, just being yourself. So
Mm,
nowadays, the world is a chaos, right? It's
mm,
so much, like, you read the news, you don't know if that's true or not anymore. You look at, like, social media, it's so much influence which you cannot control. But
that's
one thing you can control is, like, just being real, just being to yourself. So
mm,
once you're real, authentic to yourself, and your life is going to be fabulous. You don't need acceptance, you don't need an acknowledgement, whatever that is, right? Just
mm,
being real. So that's one thing I think I can have 100% control. So there's
Mm,
nothing else I can control. And you know what, whatever comes my way, I just embrace it. But one thing I am total in control is pretty myself. That make you as happy, and people can feel that, right?
yeah.
I think you think you're beautiful is because you can start a conversation. You know, you have the
Mhm.
real person, right? You know, real story. Yeah. So yeah, you know,
Yeah, wow.
this been that, you know, like I guarantee you'll be so happy and too beautiful, like inside out.
That's right. Yeah, just to be
Mm.
yourself, authentic self.
Authentic self,
That's
yes.
right, the key takeaway. So I want to sort of dive a little bit in about when did you start Black Diamondz Group, and what are some of the early challenges that you had?
So I started a Black Diamondz Group. You know, Black Diamondz is just so successful, right? And
Yes.
people are, you know, now we're probably known by it, not just Australia, internationally. So
Mhm.
it's an international luxury real estate agency, and we sold like multi-million dollar houses, a few $100 million turnover. And people say, "Oh my God, you just been very lucky." So you must have done that, you know, like for like what 30 years. You know, I've been in Australia almost like 40 years now. You know, like so I said, think back, not really. You know, we started end of 2009,
Wow.
and yeah, and it's kind of like my second career. My husband said, "Okay, uh, let's start the real estate." I said, "Oh, okay. How are you gonna do it?" They have no idea how we're gonna do it. I never been in real estate. I never know how to do it, and so I think early challenge is I think it's I you know my problem is I think my advantage. I never think there's a challenge. I
Mhm.
think it's just like it's a venture, right? You have to embrace it, right? And I think the hardship at the beginning is probably get to know the real estate, right? We have a great vision, massive ambition, and have a massive dream. And but when you started, it's wow, actually it's not that easy, right?
Mhm.
Because the real estate is a very male dominated, you know,
Mhm.
industry, and
Mhm.
there's so many bullies just telling you, right? And you are actually into unknown and being like not respected by your peers. You know,
Mhm.
I come from a different industry that
Mhm.
everybody just really respect each other. Here is like the competition is a fierce, right?
Mhm.
And it's really not healthy. But
Yeah.
for me, is I think you know what? If I can survive in real estate, I can survive anything else. I think it's probably just a true understanding of the unhealthy competitiveness, you
Mhm.
know, in this industry, and it's very much like a male dominated, you know,
See.
which is for a female a real estate agent, it's really difficult. But
Mhm.
again, is I always look at the positives, and
Mhm.
there's so much advantage for female to go there to use our femininity, right? Use our soft power, resilience, and then our nature of nurturing, multitask. So I found that niche for,
Mhm.
you know, I'm a Chinese, my English is not perfect, right? So, and I'm a female, I have no idea about the real estate. I look at the male's disadvantage, using that to my advantage and
Yes.
to tap into that niche market. So again, it's not a challenge, and it becomes it is a challenge, but a challenge to myself to find that niche and
Mhm.
make me actually stand out even more. So you
Yeah.
got it, you know, like
Yeah.
so every industry will be challenge or hardship, right? Difficulties, whatever that is. But if you found that niche, which
Yes.
you can use what you have and the other people don't have, and
Mm.
then make yourself like a very different. So I wouldn't say I'm better than everybody else, but
Mhm.
I'm definitely different than everybody else.
Well, yes.
So yeah, that make me make people think, oh my God, you must be doing that for like a 35 years. I said, no, seriously in business, just over 10 years. But start learning and tap
Mhm.
in, is about say 15 years. That's
Wow.
it.
Wow. So inspiring, honestly. I want to ask you because everything that you've described and just the way you come across, you're so confident. And I just want to ask this, and it's not actually in the questions I send you, but I just want to ask you, were there any moments where you doubt yourself, Monica? And how did you switch that voice off?
I doubt myself. I can't remember last time I doubt myself.
Wow.
Yes, I seriously can't, right? So
Mm-hmm.
even though sometimes put a few kilos, so but like I wear something. I say, oh my god, is this appropriate? Is this? Do I look okay? I'm a woman, right?
Yeah.
So, oh, is
You're
this?
right.
But one thing is I think my ability and everybody should learn that ability is
Mm,
always turn a negative to a positive.
yes.
Okay, if something you cannot change it, so if
Mm-hmm.
you say, "Oh my God, this clothes is not appropriate," you can go and change it. But
Yeah.
once you step out of a door, you
Mm,
need to build a confidence. Is that I don't even give a shit, right? I go out there. This is who I am.
mm-hmm.
But people feel you,
Mm-hmm.
so people can sense if you feel like, or maybe not appropriate. I'm not confident. People can feel you. But if
Mm,
you go out there with full like just
mm,
myself, feel secure. And
yeah.
people say, oh, wow, maybe that dress is actually looks good. Like,
Mm,
even though you say, oh my God, it's so bloody not comfortable, right? Doesn't matter. Just go out with full vengeance. Say, this
mm,
is who I am. So I represent myself. So your appear or your attitude or your sound of word will actually affect people to
mm,
believe in you. So
mhm.
first of all, you believe in yourself. Doesn't
Yes.
matter how horrible you look today. It doesn't
Mhm.
matter how like you don't really know what you're talking about sometimes. Just go in there with a full confidence, and people
Mhm.
will be affected by you. So
Yes.
that's me, right? I always change the negative or uncertainty to a certainty.
Mm,
That's like develop that skill, and everybody can do that.
yeah.
I
Wow.
just go in there with a certainty, confidence, and doesn't matter. This is who you are, right? So hopefully people will believe in you. If they don't, doesn't matter. That's
Right.
who you are. So I
Yeah.
hope that answer your question.
Yeah. That definitely did. Definitely did. And what would you say would be like a turning point in your career, like when you started Black Diamond?
You think, of course, Black Diamond is a business, yeah. So the first of all, you have to look at, okay, wow, I have sold this $20 million property. I have sold that $60 million per $100 million. So of course, it's the result of a business. So you
Mm-hmm.
cannot just talk, and you never get the result. Okay,
Definitely.
that result really helped you to build inner confidence, right? So you
Yeah.
can go out with appearance, but the inner confidence as a business is definitely look at the result. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
so the turning point, but now is, so I actually had a conversation with my husband about last week. We're talking about, because we're in the business for 15 years now, and the turning point is about how we build that trust in people, because our vision, of course, immediate result is fantastic.
Yes.
Okay, look at the profit, look at the but the real success for us, this is our vision of when we start building a business, is about how many people we helped. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
our vision is that can we help the new migrants to set up a home here, to found just not a house but a home, to
Mm,
find their belongings.
yes.
And now the people look at us because we have a few 100,000 of fans,
Yes.
um, you know, uh, uh, but when they come back, a lot of them haven't bought anything or never sold anything through us. It's not even our clients, but they
Mm,
come back to us and say, Monica, we love you because this is how much you have influenced us in the many ways, right? So in a lifestyle, in philanthropies, in arts, in community, contributions. So Order of Australia is definitely a turning point for me. So
mm,
it's not because I'm a real estate, right? I just tell you, I'm the only sixth real estate, has got that reward, right?
yes.
It's not because I'm a female, because I wear beautiful jewelry, because I drive a nice car. No, it's not about that. It's about how much you have contributed to the community. So
Yes.
that's a huge recognition from Australia. I'm talking about the governor, right? That means
Yes.
you are you belong here. So you really feel all your vision, come true, and all your contribution have organized or recognized by the government. I think that's an incredible feeling, and you finally really belong here. So and this is also the original, like idea when we started building a business. It's not just about the transaction; it's about how much you give back. So yeah, so
Yeah.
incredible. It's a really good feeling.
Wow. I feel like and from talking to you, really you really care and you're so passionate. Like you're talking about to provide not just a house but a home for those
Yes,
that comes
yes,
from comes from overseas to feel like they belong.
that's right.
And I think Monica, that's what set you apart from a lot of other real estates that's just in there for the transaction where you actually care about them. Um,
Yes.
yeah. So I think I want to ask you the next questions is that is there anything that you learned the hard way? Like any lessons that you learned the hard way?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Of course, we're learning every day, right? So, uh, for me, you know, this is me, right? So remember, I always look at the positive, and I can
Mhm,
always turn the negative to positive.
mhm,
I always can turn my weakness to the strength, right?
mhm,
So I think that I don't think anything is a hard way for me. So I got so many changes in life.
mhm,
Like I lost my dad during the COVID, and I
mhm,
start the business with a lot of police, and no, I don't think it is anything hard at all. For
mhm.
me, it's like every day is a new challenge, and I keep learning, right? So
Yeah.
if you look at me, I'm 63 years old. Okay, in 2 months. Oh, but people say, how can you like stay so energetic? And for
Yeah.
me, it's like I'm just keep taking the challenges, and I keep
Mm,
learning.
mm,
So yeah, I never see anything hard, or and because we true believer in God. So I think God
yes.
give you whatever you can take, right? So
Yeah.
every day is a new challenge. I just love things. Last night that we learned to create with my husband to create the music so I
Mm,
sleep at 3 o'clock in the morning because I got so excited by this beautiful soundtrack. And look at
mm,
me now, right? So now it's at 10 o'clock in the morning. I'm still doing very well.
yeah.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah. I just don't want to waste time. So
Yeah.
no, I think yeah, it's not
Wow.
much will stop me.
That's wonderful. And I think it's so special that you sort of mention God because he definitely, keeps us strong and resilient and by his grace that we are all here.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
I think one thing you mentioned is like I just remember a friend of mine said, you know what? So there's so many things happening in life, like up and down stuff. So I think she had a lot of difficulties in life, for according to her. I said,
Mm,
you know what, just go to church, just pray. So
mm,
that's the last falling back, right? So sometimes your parents like my mom is I lost my dad. My mom is like 88 years old, and she doesn't really. So a lot of things you cannot really get help.
mm,
Seriously, she
mm,
wouldn't understand what you're talking about. But you just go and find your inner strength. And my husband is a Christian, so I always go to church with him, and
mm,
we always found the answers.
mm,
And I was very lucky to get a lot of support from my family. Like
mm.
before it's my parents, right? Now
Yeah.
it's my family and also my daughter. So
Yeah.
we're actually really close together. That family's support, that religion, that belief, it
Mm,
really help us going. So we don't find anything is difficult.
wow, that's so beautiful. Thank you for yeah, like I'm sorry for your loss, Monica, about your father. But I know that he's so proud of you
Yeah,
and
he's fine. Yeah, he's fine.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
he we lost him in 2020, so I didn't get to see him. So because of the lockdown,
Okay, yeah.
but you know what, he's in a good place, and my dad is always proud of me, and I'm
Mm,
sure he chose the time to go. It's because he doesn't want to give us, any trouble stuff. I know. I think he's great. Yeah, he's fine.
mm,
Yeah.
mm, beautiful. And could you tell me a little bit about your daughter? You mentioned her briefly. What did
Yeah, my daughter is my daughter is a ABC, Australian born Chinese, and so of course, as a Chinese parents, I always send her to the best schools, right? So private education, all the way. And so I always thought, so my daughter is not very academic,
mm-hmm,
like, but and for me, my way of like how I treat my daughter is like I always let her to be herself.
Okay.
always. Okay,
Mm,
whatever I like my parents did. Whatever she wants to do, just do it.
mhm.
And she has got really good value. So, the value, the core value is come from from us, right?
Mm,
We
mm,
set a really good example. So me and my ex-husband, I think we set a really good example for her. We're really hardworking. We're very giving. And
mm.
we're very like even though we're not together anymore, but we still have the same value. We're
Yeah.
very honest, always supportive to others, and so that's I think it is in her.
Mm,
And but in terms of academic, I think not that like any other Chinese kids, and he was okay. She was okay. This is not too
mhm.
bad. But I'll never give her pressure. And yeah, never ever. And in terms of school, I don't even know what's her HSC schools. I have no idea, right? She doesn't want to
Mm,
show me, but she got into like a medical science, and she said, "Oh
wow.
my gosh, it's too hard," and she's trying to choose another easier subject for her to study. And after study, and she came and worked for us.
Mhm.
It didn't work out. Like if working for your parents is probably the worst thing ever, because everybody in the company looking after her. She didn't know anything. I said, Mei, you really have. I don't think I can want to sack you, but I said it just doesn't work. You really have to leave the
Yeah.
company and pursue another career.
Yeah.
And she got a job, for another real estate agent. And
Okay.
after 2 years, and she wanted to go to China, but was a lockdown. I said, you know what? Maybe you come and work for me. And she worked for me. Oh my God, she's a totally different person now. She's leading the way. Like she
Wow.
works so well, very considerate, and a team player. I really think she can do better than me. So I'm so proud of her. So I'm so proud of her all the way,
Yeah.
even though she wasn't, like the best student in the school, or not best in sports or music, anything like that, right? She's
Mm,
everything. She's very or below average. But you know what? I just, little thing she does, I'm proud of her.
wow.
Okay, I think that's the way she is. She's so confident, right?
Yes.
Sometimes I ask us, many, where do you get the confidence from? And so I don't know. So maybe it's from us,
Yeah.
it's from, and we're a very happy family. And
Mm,
yeah, I'm so proud of her. Even though she's just a real estate, all her friends like a big, like a doctors, JP Morgan bankers, and all this. But you know
mm,
what? And I think she's the happiest child, and she loves friends. She got really good friends, and she's working really well.
mm.
And yeah, that's the parents can hope for, right? And
Yeah.
I'm happy for her. Yeah,
So
whatever she wants to be.
wow.
Luckily, she wants to be in real estate.
I
Yes.
know, I know. I'm like, yeah, that's so good. Wow.
Oh, so good.
Yeah, well, thank you for sharing that because I think especially like Asian parents, they have a certain way. They always want you to be like I've experienced that myself, they want you to be doctors or lawyers or whatever. So it's so good to see that you support your daughter no matter what she does and
No matter what, yeah, it doesn't matter if you want to quit, whatever that is. Like it's so she's my daughter, and
yeah.
she's the only daughter. But I look at the fundamentals.
Mm,
Like in her, it's amazing. She got a lot of friends, and she doesn't do wrong things. Like she doesn't do all these things people not supposed to do. And she works really hard, and she's very giving.
yeah.
Like she always support me with the charities, and she's doing something
Mm,
herself. That's a parents can hope for. Like
yeah.
whatever. It's fine. It's Australia. It's such an amazing country, and
Mm,
she's gonna make it. But I just deep down, I hope she can make it in research, and that she will. And
yeah.
if she continue in this real estate, I can see she can do so much better than me. Remember, I have my background in education is a little bit different from here.
Mm, mm,
I started from scratch, but she really embraced the technologies, AIs, working with all the analytics, all the
mm, mm, mm.
much better English. You know what I mean? It's like a team player. There's no reason she cannot do better than me. But again, it's her dream. It's her, like career, whatever she wants to be. I'm here, right? So
Yeah.
I really think real estate is the best business for her and for my
Mm,
family. But
that's good.
if one day she change her mind, hopefully not, and I'm okay with that.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So much love I can feel that you have for your daughter.
yeah,
I
I am proud. Yeah,
when you're talking about her, I feel like her essence because when you're describing her, you know.
Yeah, every parent should be, right? Doesn't matter what. Yeah,
That's
every parents. Yeah.
it's beautiful to see. I want to touch base on something you've said. You said that you started from scratch, which is what my show is about. From scratch to success. So, was there any? Do you have any certain habits or routine that drives your success, Monica?
I think, of course,
Hmm.
so I'm very disciplined. Okay, very disciplined. I think discipline is everything. Discipline is something you can control.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so you should get up early in the morning. You should, finish your job today, and you should treat people nicely. I should like learning every day, and because I'm very much like a public figure, so you will never see me misbehave in public. So
Mm-hmm.
I always set a goal. That's what I won't do, and that's what must do. And I always have a list of the things. Like it's not just in the public eyes, but inside yourself, right? So I think I'm absolutely disciplined. Everybody have a different discipline,
Mm-hmm.
and my discipline is like really you know not doing things I don't think I should be doing,
Yes.
okay, in public
Yes.
or in myself. Because if you set that goal, you kind of like, if you look at my social media, if you look at the things I do, you would nothing. Because nothing at beginning, when I wasn't even like a famous like now, right?
Mm.
Or if you look back, my maybe 10 years ago, my social medias, you would never say anything negative. Remember, I want to be an influencer in the best way I
That's
can.
right.
I want to contribute to the community. That's
Yes.
my ultimate goal. I want to give back to the community. That's my ultimate goal. So everything you do, you do have a principle,
Mm.
okay, a guideline. So yeah, of course, and I work very hard. So
Yeah.
my way is I work 7 days a week because I don't see the work is a work, right? It's a work
Mm.
is something I want to achieve. So I love everything I do.
Mm. And how do you deal with like criticism or fear?
Oh yeah, the criticism, fear. I don't have fear.
Okay.
Okay, criticism. I always look. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
if something is very constructive, I
Yes.
will learn because I'm not perfect, right? So if I look at something, you say, oh wow, so this is something I haven't done right. I always look at myself, like people say, okay, this is something negative, so because you're out there, you look at my post, right? I never
Yeah.
delay any negative post. Never, just
Mm-hmm.
you just been there. I look out. If something is doesn't really care, oh my god, this woman looks fat, I don't give a shit. That's what, like I don't. So if something not constructive, I just ignore it. I don't even read it. So most of the time I don't even read it.
Mm-hmm.
If there's an article, recently there's a cover page of an Australian, like I heard it's fantastic. I didn't even read it. Seriously, I didn't finish reading. So I've done my job. I finished. I move on.
Yeah.
Okay.
That.
If something really people say, "Oh my God, Monica," right? Maybe you should do. So far, I don't even remember anything like a comments. I care. I don't even care because I know I made the mistakes. But
Yeah.
my ultimate goal is not wrong. My
Mm.
ultimate is about giving back to,
That's
to the
right.
community. I
Mm-mm-mm.
made mistake along the way, but how can I be wrong, right? So
Mm-mm.
maybe I made mistake because it's a new territory for me, or my English is not perfect. Like, I made few mistake during the interviews, but does it matter? It doesn't really matter. It's not like my native language. People understand I'm not perfect. I think my imperfection is actually my brand.
Beautiful.
Okay, so people talk to me like a lot of podcasts, a lot of like interviews. So my imperfection resonate to a lot of people.
Yes.
Nobody's perfect.
That's right.
Even people like me can make it. Everybody can do it too,
Mm.
because I'm authentic. Right.
You
So
are
I
so.
don't have I don't have fear. I don't have fear. You know what? I have God. I don't have fear.
Mm-mm.
Because I don't take any risk for you know unknown. Right. So every risk I take is calculated. I knew. So
Mm.
there's a risk. I
Yes.
would take it, but it's all calculated. Nothing can go wrong. So like real estate, I know nothing about it. It's a risk taking, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, but oh, it's okay. Maybe I don't get to sell $20 million property. Maybe I sell $50 million, right? Maybe not 50, maybe 10 million. So it's
Mm,
okay. It's okay.
yeah.
It's a learning process. You cannot be wrong.
Wow.
You know.
Yes. Thank you so much for sharing your answer, Monica, because I think one of the key success that you are is because you're being just so raw and just who you are, so humble. The next round, Monica, is gonna be a power round. So it's gonna be
Oh my
I'm gonna
God.
ask you, yes, I'm gonna ask you a quick 5 questions, and you're gonna give me quick and sharp answers. All right? Are we ready?
Yeah.
So the first question is, what are a business book or podcast that you listen to that changed your life?
I don't listen much to the podcast, to be honest, but
Mhm,
so what changed my life, or very empowering, is Anthony Robbins. If people have problems here, it's very empowering. He's amazing. If you
yeah.
have a chance, please listen to him.
Okay. Best advice you've ever received.
Just being to yourself. The best advice I just for my parents, just be yourself.
Mhm.
Let you fly. You know, if you come down, we're here to catch you.
Oh, that's so nice. um, okay. What's one thing that you wish you've done differently?
Nothing. Seriously, nothing.
That is powerful. That is powerful answer. If you lost everything tomorrow, what would be the first thing that you do, Monica?
I go and wash the dishes and start again.
I love that. I love that so much. Oh my god. See guys, go wash the dishes, okay? Um, one myth about entrepreneurs, one myth about entrepreneurship you like to burst.
Entrepreneurship is set up a goal and develop a personal brand and
Mhm.
be resistant and also persistent.
Yes. So what's next for Monica? What's your future goals? And tell me, tell me.
No idea. So yeah, no idea. Seriously, no idea. So every day is a new start, and so I'll always embrace what comes my way. I will make best out of it.
Yeah,
So don't
no,
know.
yes. Okay. If somebody is starting up a business, okay, what would be your advice for them?
So my advice for the startups is always find your personal brand. So who you are, and then be honest to yourself, and then you have to set a goal. So
Mhm.
this goal is not about transaction, it's about ultimate. So set the ultimate goal and nothing can go wrong.
Beautiful. And I just want to say, I remember in one of the episodes that I watched you in Lux Listing. I think you made the show, by the way. I think if you were not
Thank
there,
you.
you would not watch it. I'm sorry, guys. I know I probably will offend some other agents, but we're all friends. But I just want
I
to say,
heard that many times. Okay, please watch the show.
yes, you made the show. I think I like I just like fall in love with you instantly. When you said, "Oh my God, here is a room for the cheese."
I know. Do you have a cheese room? You don't have a cheese room? Is that, I do have a cheese room. I do.
I don't have it, but like when I watched the show, I was like, oh my gosh, Lee said it. Yeah. So that was iconic. Lastly, I just want to say, Monica, how does people get connected with you, or like your socials, or how do we get contacted? Yeah.
Yeah, I'm on all the social platform. If you're Chinese, and I have a WeChat and Monica to Sydney. So if you're not Chinese, I'm on the Instagram. Monica 288 is Monica with the K. Okay, so yeah, we and the LinkedIn, of course, for professional people. So
Yeah.
I always answer my everything. So I try to answer everything myself and just being connected. And again, that authenticity, and that's what you're going to get once we're connected.
Yeah, thank you. Monica, I just want to say thank you. Honestly, thank you so much for being here.
You're welcome. You're
I
welcome. I wish you all the best.
Thank you so much. And I am sure I'm gonna catch up with you at some stage. Yeah, in a very soon, in the near future. Yeah.
No problem. Anytime.
Take care,
Okay,
Monica.
all the best. Thank you and bye.
Bye bye.
Bye. Bye.